On February 25th, the Philadelphia District Attorney Office announced that at least 5 people affiliated with YBC were arrested as part of an indictment. 19 people total were expected to be arrested and charged in the following days for over 22 shootings and 5 homicides.
The Philadelphia District Attorney's Office describes the 19 individuals charged as crime drivers of Philadelphia. The chief of the Gun Violence Task Force believes this will have a cooling effect on crime following these arrests.
I think it's horrific what they've done with music in Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia District Attorney's Gun Violence Task Force announcing the arrest of 19 individuals responsible for over 20 shootings across the city between 2022 to 2024. Many are members of street gangs in West, South, and Southwest Philadelphia, and investigators say they bragged about the violence on social media and music videos they created, in some cases monetizing the videos with ads.
What we've learned from this investigation is that you can't brag about a homicide, you can't brag about the people that you killed or your score on Philly scoreboard without an investigation leading to your arrest.
Within hours, they announced that the murders of J100, T.O., Sharif King, Booga, and Qua were all solved. They also solved multiple shootings, one of which ended with an 8-year-old girl being grazed in the forehead. The indictment concludes a more than 2-year investigation into a violent street organization known as the Young Bag Chasers, or YBC, along with rival crews identified as CCK and the Parkside Killers. According to prosecutors, the groups engaged in an ongoing pattern of retaliatory shootings. Investigators determined that incidents frequently occurred in broad daylight, at times on consecutive days, and often on the same blocks. Authorities allege the violence was deliberate, coordinated, and carried out in direct response to prior acts committed by opposing crews. The first shooting occurred on September 21, 2022, at approximately 8:30 p.m. Philadelphia police responded to the 1400 block of North 75th Street in the Overbrook section of the city, following reports of multiple gunshots. Upon arrival, officers observed numerous spent shell casings scattered along the block. Several parked vehicles and nearby residences had been struck by gunfire. No victims were located at the scene, and no injuries were immediately reported. Investigators later reviewed surveillance footage from nearby cameras. The video showed 4 unidentified males discharging firearms down the street toward a single male who appeared to be the intended target. Authorities determined that more than 30 rounds were fired during the incident. Despite the volume of gunfire, the intended target was not struck. No individuals were injured in the shooting. YBC members Mark Yakyola Johnson and Kasim Brown, aka FS the Bender, have been charged in connection with this shooting. The second shooting occurred on September 22, 2022, at approximately 8:45 p.m. Philadelphia police responded to the 1500 block of North 13th Street in the North Philadelphia section of the city, following reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers were advised that an 8-year-old female had sustained a graze wound to the head as a result of stray gunfire. The child had been standing and playing in front of her family's residence when the incident occurred. She was transported by police to Temple University Hospital. She was later transferred to St. Christopher's Hospital for Children and was listed in stable condition.
We begin with breaking news tonight. A violent night in Philadelphia with 2 children shot. An 8-year-old girl grazed by a bullet when nearly 50 shots rang out in North Philly. And just a short time before that, a 16-year-old girl shot in South Philly. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Sheba Russell. That 8-year-old girl shot right near Temple University. A police source telling Fox 29 that one bullet even hit a dorm. And Dawn, fortunately, this girl is expected to be okay.
Thankfully, she suffered a graze wound to the head, so that wound will heal, but you can only imagine an 8-year-old little girl getting shot. Here's what we know. We're on North 13th Street, the 1500 block. Police tell us that a car about 9 o'clock came traveling down the street here with several men inside. That car pulls over, the men get out, and then shortly after that, another car comes down the street, and that's when these guys start firing at the car that's driving down the street. One of those bullets goes across the street over here, and it's probably hard to see, but there are actually some balloons outside this house. We're not sure if a birthday was celebrated tonight or recently, but anyway, here's Deputy Police Commissioner John Stanford, who says this has to stop and police need the community's help to put an end to this.
So 47 shots out here. A little girl in front of her door is shot. You know, at this point, it's becoming a repeat broken record, right? Of us sitting here talking about this gun violence in this city. So hopefully somebody on this block observed something, be able to give us some information. Once investigators are able to hopefully pull video in this area and put that information out, we need all the help we can get to get individuals like this off the street.
Preliminary investigation determined that a dark-colored vehicle parked on the 1500 block of North 13th Street shortly before the shooting. Multiple unidentified males exited the vehicle and remained in the area. When a white sedan traveling northbound on 13th Street approached the block, the males began firing at the vehicle. Investigators determined that more than 40 rounds were discharged during the incident. The white sedan continued northbound before coming to a stop near the intersection of 13th Street and Rising Sun Avenue, where it was located with multiple bullet holes. A 20-year-old male who was in the white sedan sustained a gunshot wound to the leg. He walked several blocks to Temple University Hospital, where he was treated and listed in stable condition. YBC member Salahuddin Carter, aka YFA4, and Jamir Lil Mir Burbage have both been charged in connection with this shooting. On October 7, 2022, shots were fired on the 3900 block of Wallace Street. No one was struck. YBC member Salahuddin Carter, aka YFA4, and Jamir Lil Mir Burbage have both been charged in connection with this shooting. 3 weeks later, on October 29, 2022, at approximately 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the area of 39th and Aspen Streets in the Mantua section of the city, following reports of multiple persons shot. Upon arrival, officers located a 35-year-old male suffering from a graze wound to the back. He was transported by police to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where he was listed in stable condition. A 42-year-old female was located suffering from one gunshot wound to the back and one gunshot wound to the abdomen. She was transported by police to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center and was listed in stable condition. A 26-year-old male was also located suffering from a single gunshot wound to the buttocks. He was transported to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where he was placed in stable condition.
Some breaking news to pass along here. Gunfire erupted at 39th and Aspen Streets in Philadelphia's Mantua section. 2 men and a woman were hospitalized in stable condition after being shot earlier tonight. Authorities tell Action News the shooting happened during a vigil for an elderly woman in the neighborhood who recently passed away. So far, no arrests have been made.
Preliminary investigation determined that the shooting occurred during a vigil being held on the street corner for a recently deceased community member. Investigators allege that a gunman opened fire into the gathered crowd before fleeing the scene. YBC member Jamir Burbage, also known as Lil Mir or Mir Stacks, was charged in connection with the shooting. 1 month later, on November 30th, 2022, Philadelphia police responded to the 4300 block of Reno Street following reports of gunfire in the area. Upon arrival, officers canvassed the scene and located ballistic evidence consistent with multiple rounds having been discharged. No victims were hit. Mir Stacks is charged with this shooting. On December 5th, 2022, at approximately 9:20 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the 4300 block of Parrish Street following reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers located a male victim later identified as Tajay Brooks, also known as J100, lying in the street. Brooks was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to the head and buttocks. Brooks was transported by police to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where he was pronounced deceased. CCK members Ronnie Vincent Kwan, also known as Crazy Ron, Herman Stegall, also known as G. Wick, and Anthony Lacey Woodson, also known as Pistol P, have been charged in connection with the incident. Pistol P is already serving a sentence of 45 to 90 years in state prison for 3 separate murders. G. Wick is also fighting a separate murder charge from 2024 when he allegedly killed an elderly man while trying to steal his car outside of a masjid. On May 16, 2023, at approximately 9:50 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the 600 block of North Preston Street following reports of a male with gunshot injuries. Upon arrival, officers located a 20-year-old male, later identified as YBC member Kamir Scott, also known as T.O., of West Philadelphia, lying in a vacant lot. Scott had sustained multiple gunshot wounds. T.O. was transported by police to a nearby hospital, where he was pronounced deceased at approximately 10:12 p.m.
After a shooting in Philadelphia, he was shot at Preston Street and Lancaster Avenue in University City around 10 o'clock last night. Skyforce 10 was over the scene. Police say the man was rushed to the hospital in extremely critical condition and later died. So far, no arrests.
Marquise Muhammad, or WAP, of the Parkside Killers, is charged with murder for this incident. After Parkside killed T.O., YBC reportedly carried out multiple retaliatory shootings in the Parkside community over the following months on their own mission to become a Parkside killer, literally. They would ultimately fail this mission. 2 weeks after T.O. died, their mission to kill a Parkside killer would begin. On May 27, 2023, at approximately 9:05 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the 5200 block of Jefferson Street in the Parkside neighborhood following reports of a shooting. 52nd and Jefferson is the main block that Parkside members hang out on. Upon arrival, officers were advised that 3 individuals had been struck by gunfire. The victims included a 20-year-old male, shot twice in the foot, a 15-year-old male, shot once in the abdomen, and a 33-year-old male, shot twice in the chest and once in the shoulder. All 3 victims were transported by private vehicle to Lankenau Medical Center, where they were listed in stable condition.
We have some breaking news to pass along tonight. Police were called to the city's Parkside section less than an hour ago on reports of a triple shooting. Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher joins us live from the scene at Lindenwood and Jefferson Streets with details. Brianna, what do we know so far?
That's right, Walter. We're still working to confirm a few details here, but police just revealed that one of those victims, a 15-year-old, however, that 15-year-old was taken to the hospital in stable condition. You can see that police still here on scene. They're just picking up evidence markers now, but police say a 20-year-old man was shot twice in the foot. He's in stable condition. The second victim, a 15-year-old, he was shot once in the stomach and taken to the hospital in stable condition. Now, the third victim, a 33-year-old man, he was shot twice in the chest and once in the shoulder. He was also taken to the hospital. Officers are here on scene. They've been going in and outside of this mini market here on the corner. No details yet on what led to this shooting, and no arrests have been made at this time. For now, we're live in Parkside. Brianna Gallagher, for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Walter.
Okay, Brianna, thank you.
YBC members Kasim Brown, or F. Stabender, Mark Johnson, or Yak Yola, and Kwamir Brown, or Mira Pablo, are all charged in this incident. 3 days later, shots were once again fired on the 5200 block of Jefferson Street. No one was hit. YBC members Kasim Brown, or F. Stabender, and Lil Mir are both charged in this incident. 1 month later, on July 8, 2023, at approximately 2:04 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the 5200 block of West Jefferson Street following reports of a shooting. Officers located a male victim later identified as Sharif King, 34, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to the body. King was transported in a patrol vehicle to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where he was pronounced deceased. Preliminary review of surveillance video obtained by investigators showed a vehicle arrive and remain parked on the block for several minutes. When King walked past the vehicle, 4 males exited and discharged multiple rounds at him. Sharif was not the intended target in this shooting. Mir Pablo, Stephen Weddington, aka Baby Yop, and Yak Yola are all charged with murder for this homicide.
But we gon' get him after, and I pop out with pop. Which one else you think gon' get him faster? I fuck the op, and she asking me if you wanna know, just ask. We got a picture of Reefy face down, his life didn't. We got a picture of Reefy face down, his life didn't matter. When T.O. died, I showed Parkside that I'm really active. We EBK, we spent any block just trying to get a basket.
That's just me personally. I don't know about nobody else. I don't know what y'all niggas be doing, but when I get out them cars, A lot of people get shot. I know one person does. And that wasn't too long ago.
On July 26, 2023, CCK member Deke Loco is shot and killed in South Philly in front of the YMCA on 17th and Christian. The next day, multiple shots are fired on the 100 block of Manton Street in South Philly. No victims were reported. CCK member Sani Goon is charged with this shooting. Another CCK-affiliated Seven-Side honcho was also identified as a shooter in this crime, but he was shot and killed in a separate incident before these charges were filed. He would have been charged if he was alive. Meanwhile, YBC is still trying to get back for T.O. On October 5th, 2023, a 20-year-old alleged to be Paul Beckwith, or Paulie from 39th and Poplar, is shot multiple times on the 5200 block of Jefferson Street while hanging on Parkside.
Ran trip to hit his face and then we hit his face. Fuck we pulling over for, we know I'm gonna get away. Paulie Wapahim got shot trying to chill on PSK. I'm rocking Stone Island, got buddy on my mind today.
The next day, Paulie would try to get back on YBC. On October 6, 2023, Philadelphia police responded to the 600 block of North Brooklyn Street following reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers located a 20-year-old male suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. His condition was reported as stable. Paulie and Wap are both charged with this shooting. 4 days later, on October 10, 2023, YBC member Baby Yop and CCK member Honcho get into a shootout on the 2100 block of North 53rd Street in West Philadelphia. Neither of them are struck. Baby Yop is charged with this shooting. Honcho would also be charged if he was alive. 1 month later, on November 4, 2023, Philadelphia police responded to the 1300 block of North 53rd Street following reports of gunfire. No one was hit. CCK member Sani Goon is charged with this shooting. 1 month later, on December 7, 2023, at approximately 8:30 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the intersection of North 29th Street and West Clearfield Street in North Philly following reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers located a 22-year-old male identified as Zaire Stafford, or Booga, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds throughout his body, including to the head. Booga had reportedly just left his place of employment at a nearby McDonald's at the time of the incident. Officers transported him to Temple University Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased at 8:41 p.m. Police also recovered his firearm at the scene. Booga, or Zaire Stafford, a 22-year-old father of two, was not an active participant in the ongoing street beef with YBC at the time of his death. His brother, Sani Goon, however, was alleged to have been involved in the beef, and investigators believe that association was enough for YBC members to target him. Based on my research, while Booga may not have been entirely detached from the surrounding environment, he was by no means considered a primary factor in the conflict that led to his killing. YBC members, Baby Yop and Mir Stacks, are both charged with Booga's murder. On December 11, 2023, shots were fired on the 1400 block of South 56th Street. No individuals were struck during the incident. CCK members, Sani Goon, G-Wick, and Hefe are all charged in connection with this shooting. Hefe is currently serving a life sentence in state prison for a separate, unrelated murder case. 3 days later, on December 15, 2023, shots were fired on the 290 block of Girard Avenue. No individuals were struck during the incident. CCK member Nasir Hefe Wells is charged with this incident. Hefe is also charged with another shooting that happened 1 month later, on January 22, 2024, on the 1000 block of Arch Street. No individuals were struck during the incident. On March 13, 2024, shots were fired on the 4300 block of Lancaster Avenue. No individuals were struck during the incident. Wap from PSK is charged with this incident. On May 18, 2024, at approximately 10:48 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to the 5400 block of Baltimore Avenue following reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, officers located a 22-year-old male later identified as Kadir Cheeks, also known as 55 Qua, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Cheeks had been walking along the block when a dark gray 2018 Mercedes S560 pulled up and 4 males exited the vehicle. The suspects then opened fire, discharging approximately 43 rounds. Kadir was struck 12 times. Cheeks was transported to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, where he was pronounced deceased.
An ambush and murder on a West Philadelphia street. Police say 4 men got out of a car and fired 43 shots at a man in his 20s. 12 bullets hit him. Officers rushed to the scene, the 5400 block of Baltimore Avenue, and took the victim to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center, but he could not be saved. The search for the shooters continues. Why the man was targeted remains a mystery. Police say they have recovered surveillance video of the crime.
Qua was associated with CCK, YBC members Baby Yop, Lil Mir, Hamza Curry, who is the older brother of Arshad Curry, and Hassan Moose, or Haas PNB, were all charged with murder in connection with the ambush. A female named Tatiana Edwards was also charged with criminal conspiracy to commit murder after investigators alleged she lured Cheeks outside shortly before the shooting. After 5'5" Qua died, his name was dragged through the mud.
Qua there, Cheeks, fuck, punch me in. Qua there, okay, I'm ready. Qua there, try to be a freak and get some fucking cheeks. You should have fucked your own bitch or stayed in and beat your fucking
Bobo said they went up 2, we turned it up when we went up 3. Which way get the news? Go check the news. We really want to on TV. K3 and Snipe, Bug and Quad, that's old and new. Nigga take me down like him on the curb, and then we smoking reef. They say I promote violence, but I'm just trying to save the streets. How I'm going to increase the peace, I couldn't even leave without my heat. Quad came out and crocked like, fuck you doing? We in the biggest beast, hitting with that. Now they not claiming it. Little boys keep getting belt the ass, somebody go give them help. Shout out to the DMV, but somebody on Baltimore just got the belt. 4 shooters bounced that out, hit him 12 times, they did it well. Quan Bug make button twins, he lost his make brother. Can't forget that shit, done touched his top, that nigga dropped his nugget.
After that, the violence cooled down until the summer of 2025, when YBC member Hassan Taylor, also known as Waters, was released from federal custody. Months later, on December 8, 2025, a 24-year-old man was shot multiple times on the 4800 block of Folsom Street. Hassan Taylor, also known as YBC Waters, was later arrested and charged in connection with the shooting. As of right now, this indictment is still new. Cases of this size in state court can take months, and in many situations even years, before they are fully resolved. Prosecutors will continue presenting evidence, defense attorneys will file motions, and the court process will determine whether the defendants reach plea agreements or move forward to trial. For now, the case remains ongoing, and additional details will likely emerge as the court proceedings continue. This has been another breakdown of a developing case out of Philadelphia. As more information becomes available, the story will continue to evolve. If you want to stay updated on cases like this and other stories coming out of Philadelphia, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss when new videos are posted. I'll continue breaking down the details, the court proceedings, and any new developments as this case moves forward. See you in the next one.